your blues, put on your dancing moves. No time to waste. Oh, ready, set, and go. Yay, fire up the show. Oh, ready, set, and go. Let the good times flow.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the season finale of the Same Bet Show. And tonight, I want you to think back to the days when you first started to gamble. You'd go to the casino, play a few slots, have a great dinner, and maybe even check out the table games. Maybe you won a few bucks that night, left feeling like a winner. It was fun, so you do it again, and then again. But before too long, you have that inevitable losing session. The one that makes you realize winning is fun, losing, well, not so much. But it gets you to thinking, is there a way to be a more consistent winner? Can I play a little smarter? Are there strategies that can be used to lower the house edge or at least increase the time spent at the tables? Well, thousands of people have turned to YouTube in search of the Holy Grail, the strategy that will turn a recreational gambler into a serious player. There's no shortage of videos with opinions and examples of how to play our favorite games, but there is one content creator that's put his own original crap strategies backed by thousands of test rolls and live play at the casino. Tonight, we're going to spend an hour or so picking the brain of the master strategist, Vince Armenti. Vince, welcome to the show.
Hey, Dave. Holy crap. Long time no see.
Yeah.
How you been, man?
I've been doing pretty good. Let's flip over here. So yeah, things have been going pretty well for me. Actually, real quick, Vince, before we get into it, I want to do this at the beginning of the show rather than the end. I'm going to do something real quick. I announced a couple of weeks ago that this was going to be the season finale. And I got to recognize all of the guests that I've had on this year. John Kokos from ProCraps, Ron Van Allen, Rick Salazar from Let It Roll, Jacob Bittner from Wager Me This, Jeff M. from Mid-Atlantic Craps, Howard Rock and Roller Newman, Heavy, Steve Haltom, Craig Shacklet, Tony Leo, Ed Robinson, Michael Feldman, Julian Romero, The Ramblin' Gambler, Steven Slambright Lambright, and Vince, you're the final guest of this season. So to all of you that were guests this year, this season, a heartfelt thanks. It's been a blast, and I've had a lot of fun working with everybody. And not to mention all of the people in the audience. I like to tell a lot of people that my job is actually easy. I usually come up with 3 or 4 questions that I want to ask, but the people in the audience, they're the ones that keep the show going. They're the ones that make this go a little bit past an hour just about every time. And I suspect tonight is going to be a little bit more of the same. So Vince, let's get started. You gotta
excuse me. I got somebody on the side of me. He's a pain in the butt. I always gotta get on the camera. You know what I'm talking about.
She's got to get some airtime. Welcome, Sue.
Technically, I'd be the last guest.
Technically, you would be the last guest. You got that right. So welcome,
you met
Vince.
Sue, Dave?
Yes.
You met Sue?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So welcome to Vince and Sue. I'm glad to have you on the show, and we're going to have a blast tonight. So to get started, though, I've heard you talk a little bit about it, but I'd like to hear a little bit about how you got started gambling. What's your origin story?
Oh, man. I actually know how it started. Really weird. I kind of grew into the gambling world. My uncle, my mom's brother, he's a professional gambler. He's always been going to Monte Carlo and all these talks about it. He brings home pictures and all kinds of souvenirs from casinos. And when I was living with my uncle, I was a kid. I was only 5, 6 years old. And I'd always be in his office. It would be my playroom. And he would always have like cards and dice and all kinds of toys like that. Cards and dice especially. He had a lot of books. Like on stuff. I didn't care about books too much, but then I started seeing on the shelf, he used to have books that had the pictures of playing cards and dice and stuff like that. I was like 5, 6 years old, and I'd be watching. I wouldn't read the books. I didn't know how to read too good, but I would look at the pictures, and I would see all these cards, like all these really nice, colorful cards, like it looked really cool. It reminded me of the cards that are on his desk.
And how old were you at this point?
Yeah, I was like 5, 6 years old. I'd always play with the dice, and I'd always mess up his cards all the time. He'd be playing solitaire on his desk, and when he's not in the office, I'm there, and they would be my toys.
Yeah.
I was always growing up with cards. He would teach me how to shuffle cards. It was pretty cool. And he'd play the game. I don't know if you probably tried it too. He'd always play the 52 pickup. You know, with the 52 pickup, it'd keep me occupied. And I was always getting good with the cards. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
They
Okay,
want
well,
me in the front.
I was going to say let's
What?
give Sue the spotlight for a minute and ask Sue about her beginnings. And real quick, I just want to give a shout out. We've got a couple of super chats that have come in. John from ProCraps, a $10 super chat. Jeff over at Mid Atlantic Craps, another $10 super chat. Guys, thank you so much for the super chats. I really do appreciate it. And Sue, let's turn it back over to you and hear your origin story. How did you get started gambling?
Well, I started out as just strictly a slot player for fun. And I liked the fact that I got free show tickets. So years went by and I met this guy at karaoke and he followed me home. And one night we wanted something to do and I had tickets for a show and said, come on, let's go. It'll be a night out for us. Be good. He didn't really want to go. He kind of drifted away from the casino a bit. And we ended up going to the show. And we got back into the casino environment. We played little slots. He showed me around. And then he started teaching me Baccarat at home. And we went to the Baccarat lounge when I was off work because I was sick. And we did this strategy where, I would only play the player because I refused to pay for the commission. He would only play the banker. And he lost all his money. And I started floating him chips across so that he could keep playing. It turned into date night strategy. And one night it just got a little overwhelming in the lounge because there were so many people and having green eyes. They kept wanting to touch me and me to touch their money and crowding in on me. And they wanted me to bet for them. So Vince says, come on, let's take a little break.
So this, because the green eyes are supposed to be lucky, right?
Yeah, the jade eyes.
Jade eyes.
And they're kind of an unusual green. So they thought I was luck. And we went for a walk about 5:30 in the morning. And we went around the other side of the casino. And we hear all of, he shows me this craps table. There's nobody at it. And he says, come on, I want to show you this game. And I said, no way, man. That's just way over my head. Can't do it. It scares me. So he says, I'll show you for $1. Just let me show you. And I'm like, no way.
It costs $1 to play.
And he
So what?
throws
This was like in
$100 bill on-
1978?
No. Actually, this was only in 2012, 2013.
Late 2012, early. Well,
Yeah.
actually, it was
It wasn't 13 because we had just.
It was
moved
in
to Niagara Falls.
2013.
So-
yeah.
And
So 2013, you're able to make $1 bet?
Well,
Yes.
here's the trick.
I can tell them.
Okay. Well, you know about the do we don't, right?
Yeah.
So it was at a $5 minimum. And we put $5 on the pass, $5 on the don't pass. And I'm like panicking because he said $1. And he said, relax, it's okay. And he put $1 on the fireplace bet. Or the fire.
The fireplace.
The
Fire
fire
bet.
bet. The fire bet.
And I'm like, what? And he says, all you got to do is put $1 there. And it's fine. So when he was talking to the guy and getting his chips and, getting set up with the dice and stuff, I put one of the other white chips on my dot because I thought I was supposed to. And the guy moves them over to the other side of the table and sets it up. And Vince is going to roll the dice and he's explaining it to me. So he throws the dice and he starts to make numbers. He gets to the third number. He says, see, we made $25. Isn't
No,
that
that
awesome?
was the fourth number.
And-
Fourth number pays 25 to 1.
One more and we got $25.
Okay.
And I said, oh, okay. That's nice. So he throws the fourth number, makes it. And he says, we made $25. And when I'm
Yeah,
thinking,
see,
something's wrong here.
They didn't pay it. They didn't pay it. You got to
pay it.
roll a 7 in order
Right,
for them
right.
to pay it.
Yeah, because you could hit
Don't
some
pay
more
at the end of
points.
the round. So he throws and makes a fifth number.
And so
Now
we just
it's-
won $250. Look
And
at that.
And I said, no, we didn't. And he, yeah, I'll show you. As soon
Don't
as
worry
turns
about
up.
it. I got to roll a 7. We're going to get paid. No problem.
So then he started remaking a bunch of numbers and then totally ended up making about 10 numbers Then he landed the 6th point. And
Okay.
he's all
Wow.
excited. If I make this, it's 1,000 to 1. And I thought, oh boy, it's not. And he's going, yeah, it is. Just let me do this. So he threw and made the 6th number. Well, then
I got totally crazy excited. I says, "Look at that! We just
pay us,
turned
just pay
$1
us."
into $1,000, and then
And
she's doing this.
no, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
And then he's trying to throw out. Couldn't do it. So he took the $98 or the $88 that was still in the rail, and he started placing a few line bets just for something to do. And that gradually grew to be about $478.
Wow.
And he finally hit a 7 out. And he said, "We got $1,000."
That's
and I
when
went,
we get paid.
"No, we didn't."
Because when you bet the fire bet, you
let
got to
me-
roll the 7 in order to get paid. So I says, "Look at this! Watch, she's gonna pay us right now, $1,000."
And I said, "No, we didn't get it though." And he says, "Yeah, we did. We'll pay it, And the stick man said, "Listen to your wife and look." And he pointed over
Yeah,
to the fire bet, and there's 2 little white
"I
dots.
put $1 there too." That's
And he
awesome.
started screaming and jumping up and down. He says, "We got $2,000. We got to you did it, dude." I said, "Wasn't I supposed to?" And he went, yeah. And he goes, "That's awesome. And I thought, well, I thought I had to bet to be at the table.
She got hooked.
So
Yeah.
Got hooked on
they,
So-
they paid us, and I've got these $2,000 chips in my hand. And then he gives me the 478 total after we colored it up.
We
And
tipped the dealer.
and we
told her,
tipped the
tip
dealer. We tipped the dealer $278, and
Nice.
I took my 2,200 over to the cage with my shaking hands.
Shaking like a leaf, this one.
And as we were cashing out, I said, "If we go there again, can I throw the dice next time?" And he said, "Sure you can." And the rest is history.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I've got
that's
2 questions for you. Number one, and maybe it's more of a question for the audience. Who wins $2,000 at their first time at the craps table?
Exactly. It's like fate
That was-
told me to be there.
That was freaking pure luck, man.
And
That was pure luck. Because
and-
it went downhill from there.
Yeah.
Because
We
I'm
didn't have
thinking, wow,
strategies.
it's got to be pretty easy to make this fire bet. So we kept on putting dollars down. And then
Yeah.
I kept getting smart with the dealer. I says, "Hey, what's the most I can bet on that? Can I put a quarter on that one?"
Oh.
He says, no, the max bet you could put is $5. But we kept putting $5, $5, $5.
But nobody
It's
else
like,
could do it.
we're not winning anything here.
Yeah.
It's not
But see,
really
that dealer that
easy
told
to
you you
do.
can't go above $5 just saved you a lot of money.
Yeah.
Oh man, that fire bet, I'll tell you, it got expensive quick. I'll tell you,
Yeah.
because we kept for $5 every time we played.
But then we learned that you needed to have a little bit of a strategy involved to figure it out. And
Oh,
Vince,
yeah.
with the way his mind works, just like
Yeah.
with Baccarat, said, "I think I got an idea."
I think I got an idea.
So
I'm gonna go
hold
on
that
YouTube.
thought. Hold
I
that
went
thought
on
for a minute,
YouTube, my
because
friend.
there was 2 things. The number one, who wins $2,000, and then number 2,
Exactly.
Sue. I thought you were the shooter between the 2 of you guys. I thought you were the one with the
I
talent.
am, but I had never been to the table, and until the next time we went, I had never held the dice.
Well, she did not become an official shooter of craps until it was late 2018.
No, well, I did throw the dice.
Yeah, but she wasn't good
And-
at it.
And he noticed that,
She wasn't good.
and then they taught me about setting the dice. So
Yeah.
I tried a few dice sets in 2018, and I could roll, but I couldn't get the 4s and the 10s or the 2s and the 12s. And DJ Thunder
Yep.
said, "Hey Sue, try this." And he
Try
gave
this set.
me 4, 2, 6, 3. It gets pretty much all the numbers. And he said, "With the way you throw, I think it might work, because I have kind of an unorthodox throw,
Yeah.
because I crack eggs
Hey, Dave.
I was
you know
gonna
what she
ask you
does?
and I keep my wrist
She
really
cracks-
straight.
She cracks
1, 2, 3,
900 eggs a
and throw
day.
straight forward."
She cracks 900 eggs a day, and she's always going tap, 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 toss the eggshells to the garbage.
But-
Tap, 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 tap.
But
You
I
know what
don't flip.
You know what I noticed, Dave? Dave, this is where it opened up our eyes at the craps table, because we were always taking our baccarat wins to the craps table and losing our shirt.
Yeah.
Well, what was happening was she started doing this tap, tap, tap throw. I put the dice in her hand. I says, hey, throw these dice over here. And next thing you know, she's got a rhythm going on. She's got that same tap, 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 toss. Instead of eggshells, she's tossing dice.
And he kept saying, why do you have to tap them? Just throw them, just throw them. And I said, it just feels right.
So
Yeah.
I was using an app called the Bubble Craps Tracker app. I was using the Bubble Craps Tracker app. I was tracking her rolls. You know, you could record her rolls.
Yeah.
And she's like rolling nines. And I says, okay, it's time to go to the casino. I go to the casino, buy it for $1,000, and sure enough, she's rolling the damn nines. And the rest is history. Oh my goodness.
So she becomes a control shooter.
She became a champion like overnight from that tap, tap, tap. In fact, when we went to the Windsor Casino, we would get a bunch of guys on YouTube that would watch us play on the YouTube channel. And she gets to a table and she goes, tap, tap, tap. And this guy gets all nuts. That's her. That's her.
And he just threw
You recognized it from the
on
taps.
table and I'm buying back in.
It's like, yeah, so she had the dice were out. The dice were already out. So she's going tap, tap, tap. That's her. That's her. He's getting all crazy. So she put the dice down. The dealer's saying, I'm so sorry. She's, you can finish this.
It's okay. Let him buy in.
Let him buy in. He's
So we're
putting
going to
money
get to
down.
strategies here in a few minutes, but that's a good question. Do you guys get recognized in the casinos a lot?
Oh, Fred.
Yeah. He gets recognized for his face. I'm recognized for tap, tap, tap.
Tap, tap,
And
tap.
occasionally for my face.
Yeah, they think we're movie stars at the casino sometimes. It's just amazing how people react. It's crazy to see crowds. Like we it's really messed up because we weren't used to it.
We used to have 2 craps tables side by side in our casino. And if I was at one and I did the tap, 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 and somebody said, it's her, half the table from the other side would run over.
Yeah, they
And it
started
was funny.
hanging out and behind us. I would do a lot of strategies that involved a lot of flash betting, where a lot of crazy chips. I was doing the atom rack 'em and stack 'em in the field, and people would see chips of nickel chips packed almost a foot high, and they're saying, "Come on," and I would lose. I would lose, but it was just the fun of it, the thrill. It's amazing though. People shaking the hand, saying, "Hey, you're the guy. You're the guy on YouTube. That's you. That's you."
But since I started getting trips from our local casino to go places like Atlantic City and New Orleans, I was really shocked how many people out there would actually come to a casino that far away from home just to say hi.
Yeah.
And the first time that happened, it kind of knocked me off kilter because this man kept stepping away from the table like he had to be somewhere and he shouldn't be there. And he finally, after about 10 minutes of doing this, pushed off the table like, I gotta go now. Wiped his hand down his pants to dry his palm, stuck his hand out in front of me, and in about half a second said, "Hi, Sue, it's a pleasure meeting you. My name is and it's wonderful to be at a table with you," and then shot back around the table to his spot. And I just stood there and looked at the dealer, and he goes, "What just happened?" And I said, "I have no idea." And then I saw a spot next to him, and I went over and stood next to him and said, "Relax. I'm just a normal person betting like you. Anyway, but I watch you all the time." Yeah, but it's not like it's NBC.
Yeah. Well, Sue, we've got some questions coming in, and one of them is directed strictly to you. So let's go ahead and start with that one. Waylon out there would like to know, Sue, are you Vince's bankroll manager?
Yes. Funny you should mention that. You'll notice I'm wearing a hooded shirt. This is the hoodie that invented Mr. Green's strategy. Because we went to the casino one night and Vince instructed me, when we get quarters above our bankroll, you need to make sure we take them home. So I would very casually put my hand up and slide them off the table and into the pocket of this hoodie.
Okay.
And then on the way out that night, he had lost all of the money at the table, the bankroll.
Well, I lost my chips. And I says, I'm going.
I'm
my
outta
luck
here.
is terrible.
And I said, I got to go to the cage. And he goes, for what? And I said, well, I got to cash my chips in. He thought I had about 20 or 30 bucks in my pocket. And we got to the cage and I started pulling handfuls and handfuls out of my pocket.
Yeah.
And I had pocketed $891.
Wow.
And he's like, what?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Because
It's amazing.
I had $875 in the quarters, and then my loose change from the table.
Yeah.
And he's going, how did you do that? And I said, well, you told me to put them away where we wouldn't spend them. So the hoodie became the symbol of our bankroll management.
There's
There
the
you
money
go.
manager right there, guys. That's
So
the
we have
money
a
manager.
we have a
Yeah,
related
Hide
question.
the green chips. Hide the greens.
And don't
Yep.
add a black one near me because you'll never see it again.
All right, we've got a question coming in from Toothpick Ted, but before I get to the question, I got to give Toothpick Ted a shout out. He sent me one of his new stickers. I got it in the mail today. It was a surprise. Opened up the mail to see that. It made my day, Ted. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it so much. But he asked the question. He says, do Vince and Sue still use chip trays to carry the checks to the cashier?
Occasionally, yes.
Wait, hang on. Only that, because a lot of the casinos, our local casinos, wouldn't let us put the chip trays on top of the table.
Yeah.
But they allow it at the Caesars property. At the Caesars
okay.
property, it's 3.5 hours away. They allow us, because I would go up to the poker room to buy my chips. So I would buy in for all greens, and she would buy in for just a tray of reds. So hers would buy in with $500. Mine was $2,500. We'd go downstairs with the chips, and they allow us to put it on the table. It's okay. It's okay to leave it on the table over there.
Yeah.
But some of them say
Down on the
use
deck?
those trays
They let you put it on the deck? Or
Yes.
up in the rail?
right on the deck.
Where
Oh.
the chip rail is, we'd set it right on top.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's
the chip
Caesars
rail.
property
Okay.
in Windsor, Ontario.
We actually brought our own there a few times, and the one chip supervisor took my tray.
Oh, that was the first one.
And I went, excuse me, that's actually my tray. And he says, that's okay, we'll send it back to the poker room. And I said, no, you don't understand me. I brought that from home. And he goes, seriously? And I said, yeah. And I said, look on the bottom. And there was a V on the bottom. And
Yeah.
I said, that's his initial.
Yeah.
So he gave me my chip rack back, and he never, ever took another chip rail from me.
You know what's really funny is they don't expect people to do that at the Caesars property. When I came down from the poker room, I gave her the chips.
Yeah.
And she walked up to the table. I got to the table to hold some spots. She walks up to the table with these 2 racks of chips. And the damn box guy, what the heck did he say to you?
Ooh, nice racks.
And I go,
Oh.
hey, that's my wife.
Yeah.
I go,
Not
"That's
cool.
my-"
Not cool.
He goes, nice racks. He was talking about the trays of chips. I go,
Yeah.
hey, that's my wife.
And he's still a very good friend.
Yeah, he's been a friend forever now. He's just been our number one go-to guy whenever we go to Caesars Windsor.
Yeah. Nice. All right, guys. So we're getting ready to get into a little bit of strategy. So I see several of you have been putting some questions out there. We're going to try to get to every question that we can. If you would, put a Q in front of your comment so I know that it's a question and I can tag it really easily. So, guys, let's dig into some strategies. So, Vince, let's go back to the beginning. What did this come natural to you, or did you have to sit down and kind of learn how to do a strategy? What was your thought process?
You know
like?
what? I think it started. I gotta blame the video games of 1980s because a lot of the Bally Midway games have patterns. If you're familiar with Pac-Man, you know there's a pattern when you play Pac-Man, or if you play Asteroids, you know you can fly up and down and keep on killing the side thing. There's a pattern. Miss Pac-Man had patterns. A Centipede had pattern. Galaga, you play with Galaga. You deke out the bullets for about 15 minutes. They run out of bullets. And then you can play the rest of the game with no bullets. And
Yeah.
I'm saying to myself, I walked into the casino. This was back in 1996. It was a VIP party. I went with my uncle. It was the grand opening of the casino here in Niagara Falls. And I noticed half of the damn machines there were Bally Midway games. I'm saying, oh, man, my eyes lit up. I says, well, I know about this Bally Midway stuff. They got a lot of glitches.
But I think he means the crap strategies.
Well, no,
Well, not
that's okay,
craps
because
in general.
one of the things that I was curious about is I wonder if the same programmers of some of those games that you liked are the Bally's programmers as well. You know,
That's that's what I started thinking. I started putting two and two together. I'm saying, well, if these Bally Midway games got glitches, because it's a program, even though it's a computer program, it's still programmed by a human. So if they got glitches in
Humans are prone
Pac-Man
to
and the other
patterns.
ones, humans always got natural human errors. So
Sure.
one man's errors could be another man's livelihood, a treasure. You know what I'm saying? But it paid off. It paid off. What was really funny, it was with my favorite game I got hooked on back in 1996 was Keno. And Keno was made by Bally Midway. And it was really messed up because I says, okay, I'm a strategic kind of guy. I like patterns. I got like a little bit of a photographic memory from blackjack because I played a lot of blackjack at the before the casinos even opened back in 1989, 90, 91, 92. We kept on playing blackjack at the charity casinos. And I'd always know all kinds of patterns going on. I would watch the face cards. I would watch the little cards. I remember those books that my uncle had, the Scarnes book on cards or card counting, all this stuff. He had tons of them on his shelf, but I didn't read them. I just looked at the pictures. And I remember they had the strategy cards in those books. And that's what I was just a kid back then, too. But I was always into strategies. Like every game I played, roulette, blackjack, let it ride, everything. Even Baccarat is like, wow, it's crazy stuff.
I totally blame the ADHD for that because ADHD people think strategically.
Yes.
And they will focus in on a target and focus on it until they get it right.
And I don't stop until I get it right.
If he sees his strategy or someone else's, his mind automatically goes into fix-it mode. And he focuses in until he gets it as perfect as he can.
Dave, this is beautiful. You know, just the other day, there was a gentleman, his name is Chris, from another channel, Sideshow Gamble. Yeah. He goes, I just thought of something just right off the top of my head, because I was watching a video on the coin pusher where the coins push and they fall down. You get paid a bunch of coins all at once. So he says, I'm going to try to relate that to craps. Well, he says, it's really stupid strategy. I says, okay, my eyes lit up. I got up. I went and watched the video. I seen a little bit of what he did. And I says,
I can fix that.
I can do this. I can do this. So I wrote an auto bet file on it for using the WinCraps. That's my go-to software, by the way. I like using the WinCraps Pro when it comes to writing craps strategies. So it was a quick program to write. So I wrote the coin pusher. I called it the crisscross coin pusher. I changed it later when I finalized it. It's a crisscross coin pusher. But what happened was I write the script, I run it, it loses. I says, okay, let's copy.
Looks for where it loses.
Because you could put 8 strategies at the same time. So what I would do on WinCraps, you could run 8 strategies at the same time. So I copy and paste the same code in all 8 folders, and then I make a change on each of the folders. I say,
which one works.
Okay, this guy, he says, when I watched Chris do this coin pusher thing, he takes his winnings and puts it on the, if an 8 won, he puts his winnings back on the 8 and moves his 8 original bet to the 9. I says, you know what? I'm going to change it up. I'm going to, instead of putting the original bet to the 9, I'm going to take the winnings and put it on the 9. And I'm going to cash out the 9. I says, this is to cut out the middleman, right? So I'm starting to run the file. Next thing you know, because I run these hyperdrive. I don't know if you see these things.
I was going to ask you if we can kind of talk a little bit about your background there.
I can't really show you those because those belong to a lot of these strategies belong to a lot of the email that my gurus, the craps enthusiasts.
Okay,
but they got this pop-up. They got this pop-up that says $10 million. We can't go past $10 million.
Win or lose.
So, yeah, here's one. This one here stopped by exceeding the negative bankroll limit. That one actually lost $10 million.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was a hop. That's a one I was experimenting with the hop bets. $20 to $320.
So,
Hot
so
magic,
Vince,
I called it.
you know, a lot of times we talk about our craps lab, and quite often it's just our felt that we're playing around with. You have taken a craps lab to a whole new level. Can you kind of point out some of the screens that you've got back there and kind of tell what's going on back there?
Yeah, well, what happens is I start at the bottom, and the bottom computer here is usually where I first run the introductory. Because what I do is I do what they do. Hawaiian crap shooters likes to qualify shooters. Where what I do is I pre-qualify strategies. So when I get a strategy finalized on my main computer here, I move it over to the first computer here, and I run a whole pile of rolls, millions and millions of rolls. And I pre-qualify that strategy. And then what I do is I'll compare 8 of them at a time. The winner moves over to this computer. I pre-qualify the same strategies versus other strategies to give you the best bang for the buck. And then the winners from this one goes into this one. And then from this one goes up to the top guy. And then the main strategies, if they make it, it's kind of like a royal rumble of strategies. They wind up going to my laptop here. This is the big one. This is the guy that's got all the good strategies, but I can't really show you the strategies on those because half of them don't even belong to me. It's pretty crazy stuff because the people email me the strategies,
Asking you to run it for them. Yeah. So, I'm trying to decide if I want to ask some of these questions now or later. I think I'm going to hold. Mel, I saw your question out there. I'm going to hold on to that one for just a few minutes. But Vince, you were trying to tell me something about WinCraps that I didn't quite understand. Are you a contributor to the software or a contributor to their forum? What's your relationship with WinCraps?
I'm just an end user. I'm actually just an end user. What happened back in 2014, Sue and we always would play Baccarat, and then we got hooked on craps. So we would take our Baccarat winnings and we'd go to the craps table. I kept losing all the time. So I says, okay, I got to find a solution. So I went over on YouTube and I started watching guys like Blue Collar Craps and Jeremy from Color Up and all these YouTubers. And then I ran into a craps forum. It was a Wizard of Vegas forum, actually, Wizard of Vegas. And Michael Shackelford was in that at the time. And that's where I learned about the WinCraps. So I says, I got to download it. I'm going to download WinCraps. I'm going to try it out. And, you know, in the WinCraps website, there was AutoBet files. You can actually download pre-made strategies. So I would run them the way they were. And I said, hey, Sue, we should try this one. We would lose our shirt on it. But hey, Sue, let's try this one. But then I said to myself, you know what? I think we got to change something here. I think we should write our own. We should write our own strategy. So I started watching a lot of the YouTubers like Uncle Angelo and all these other guys. And I'm saying, wow, you know, he does okay, but I think I can change it because I can write 8 versions of that program. And I started using WinCraps a lot, but I'm strictly an end user. I love the support team because I would always send them emails. How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? And they took their patience and took the time and assisted me with that. And I've been using WinCraps ever since. It's the bread and butter of crap. If you play craps for real cash, you want to test strategies before going to the casino, this is the definite software because we saved thousands of dollars back in 2014.
It also helped us stay sane during COVID.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but WinCraps, that's I'm really not. I would love to be a part of WinCraps, I'll tell you, because I love the software. The support team is amazing. I'm just a fan.
My little nerd.
I'm a fan when it comes to WinCraft, but I'm just an end user like everybody else. I don't even understand half the stuff in it. It's got so much in there.
Well, Vince, you know what you need to do? You need to make them a sponsor of your show. Call up some of the management and leadership over there and say, hey, sponsor my show. Let's send some business your way.
Yeah, it's just nothing really belongs to me. That's why. That's why when I do my shows, my
Well,
scrap
you do have
strategy
some
vids,
strategies
I
on
like to
there.
give credit to those that
Yeah.
deserve the credit, because I'm just like I say, I'm just a guy. I watch YouTube 10 to 12 hours a day. I'm currently retired. I was buying and selling houses. That's what I did for a living. I buy handyman specials, vendor takebacks. I fix them up. I sell them, make a couple bucks, and then go from there. But I can't do it now. The real estate market gone crazy. So I said,
Yeah.
screw it. I'm just gonna retire. And I spend time watching YouTube videos. I was even watching your channel. You had some nice stuff going on.
Yeah.
And I always see this strategy, and I say, I'm gonna write that in wind crafts, and then I'm gonna
And he tweaks and
test
tweaks
it,
and
add a tweak from this guy. Just getting back to that coin pusher strategy, it was Big AZ. He chimed in. He says, "Hey, where's the cash out button? Where's the cash?" Because I'd always bust his chops, because he doesn't like to hit the cash out button. So
Yeah.
he busts my chops. He says, "Where's the cash out button?" So in that coin pusher program, I added 8 cash out buttons.
Nice.
8 cash out buttons, and I
Okay.
explained it how
Big
it
AZ's
works.
cash
But
out
You
button.
don't
I
have
love
an
it.
hour
But
first
then,
question.
then I took Waylon.
He's had to stop. So
Waylon had this other thing he does with some kind of D. Ellenbert kind of betting. D.
Yeah.
Ellenbert. And I actually learned about the martingale at a young age. I was about 9 years old when I learned about martingale. And my uncle, no,
Never
you don't want to do
martingale.
that. Never do that. But anyway, yeah, I incorporated the Allenbert in there as a side bet. I incorporated the
Fibonacci.
555. Greg from 555 said you should put a
Oh,
regression in there.
Naboche.
Put it in there. We put everybody's YouTube features in this coin pusher, and then I put it out in a cage match just the other night. And
I was going to ask. I didn't get to see. I've heard the results. Did you win?
Oh yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, we took the big, but it's not me. It's not me. I
It was-
owe it to everybody else.
He
So
just took the best of everything and made it into one.
I just added
Yeah.
everybody's spices into the sauce and made a beautiful sauce. It turned out to be good. But again, when I do my
I
videos,
understand.
it's not my stuff. It belongs to everybody else's stuff.
Sorry, guys, I can't sit down that long. I
Yeah,
get
she
a little
just
hard on
likes
the
to
back.
be the camera hog. Hey, let's get to some questions.
Okay, yeah, let's. But before we do that, I do have a sponsor for this show, and this is our last show of the of this season. So I'm going to play the little promo real quick, and we'll be right back. Michael Feldman is an independent casino host that's been on the show before. He's known for getting us spectacular comps and deals on casino packages in places like Atlantic City, Las Vegas, and many other markets around the U.S. But today, he's got a deal from Norwegian Cruise Lines on an amazing trip from New York City to Bermuda. Depending on your level of casino play, you may be eligible for deep discounts or even comped rooms or suites. The trip is this April, and they're booking now. Cruising's not your thing? Well, Michael can still help you with discounts and comps to many of your favorite casino destinations. So if it's time to get out of the house and go on an adventure, contact Michael Feldman and see what having an independent host can do for you. All right, yeah. So the that cruise is still coming up in just a few weeks. There's still time to get in on that. Give Michael a call if you're interested, and he'll get you taken care of. All right, let's take a quick look at some of the questions that have come through. Let's see here. Born to Roll Dice. He has the ultimate question. What's the best strategy you guys have used?
The one that works
Hang
best
on,
for the table you're
there's
on.
a couple though. It depends on what table we're on. If we're in the VIP lounge, there's only one strategy, only one.
Rocky's favorite and Lawrence's favorite. Press the pretty lady.
Okay.
That's
so,
my
press-
favorite.
so can you
Press the
give-
pretty lady.
press the pretty lady? So can you give us a quick synopsis of what that is?
Okay, we go in. I go strictly black chips. I bet 110 inside, working on come out. I gather my chump change until it makes $100, and then Vince takes my chump change and bets 55 in the field when he has enough.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, I'm playing the other side of the
Yeah.
table.
And if his field wins, he takes the winnings, which equal at least 110, and says, press the pretty lady, and pushes the chips over to the dealer, who presses my bets up. Now, the
Okay.
fun part about that, when we started playing it, he was on the
hang,
other side of the
hang on,
table.
2 seconds. Hang on. This is how it worked out really good because she only has $100 chips on her table, and turned out she wound up having over 15,000 on her table
I got to
at that
17 at one
day.
point.
Well, what happened was she collects $100 chips on her table. I say, when you got greens and reds there, when you got $100, I'm gonna buy that chunk change off you for the $100. And what I would do is I would take it to my side of the table and I would start betting 55 in the field. So every time I won, I would say, I push it over to the come area and I say, hey, press the shooter, press that pretty lady, because she's rolling the dice. So press the pretty lady with my wins there. And they do. But the problem is, it turned out to be not even a problem. It turned out to be pretty generous, actually. I got 14 players at the table. 12 other players are going, hey, press that pretty lady's bets up. Everybody.
And they weren't even all in the field. They were just blessing because I had a good roll that day.
Yeah, she was making the all-time. These guys in the VIP, they're nuts. They're crazy. They flood the all-tall small, flood with $100 chips, max bet.
And the one roll that I did, everybody pressed me up. And I went from 110 to 880. And I looked around the table and said, guys, would you be terribly insulted if I went back to my base? Because it's scaring me to think about rolling on this. And they just said, it's your money, my dear. You can do whatever you want with it. And I took down 770 off that table and put it in my chip rack.
That's awesome.
But what was crazy was she started doing it repeatedly.
Yeah.
So that's your go-to strategy in the high limit
In the
room.
VIP.
In the VIP room. But Hawaiian Crapshooters, Mr. Money Shots out there wanting to know. He says, I know you have an encyclopedia of strategies up your sleeve, but what's your go-to strategy in the casino? So you gave us the VIP room. What about just a regular, let's say a $10, $15 table?
Yeah,
What's your favorite?
In the general flow, you know what's really messed up is we get emails. Oh my God, all day, every day.
We don't have all day.
That's the number $1 million question that we get in our email. What's your go-to strategy? Because there's so many strategies, and the one that we normally would play when we go into the general room is now keep in mind, in the general room we're just buying in for $300 to $500. At a $10 or $15 table, she gets $300 to $500. I get $300 to $500. It doesn't matter what we start with. We could start with maybe an atom rack 'em stack 'em strategy, or a grinder strategy where she's playing the what's that thing you used to say to the dealers?
10 DC and the rest for me.
10 DC and the rest for me. It's called the ladies grinder strategy she used to play. But you know what? In the general floor, everybody that has strategy goes out the window. Nobody plays strategies out in the general floor. It's basically the trending numbers. We follow the trend of the table because we want to keep the juice going on.
Yeah, it's always wise to go in with more than one strategy up your sleeve, but to always look at the way the table's rolling, look at the shooters and how they're rolling, and adjust your strategy potential to what's on the table. You don't want to go in with a don't strategy if you're looking at people that are rolling 30 number bets. You want to go in, and you don't wear your football gear to a baseball game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go in and play the table, not just the strategy.
Yeah.
So it's whatever works for the environment you're in.
So, Vince, I guess I have to say I have a bone to pick with you.
Go for it. I'll help you.
So I was on your chat, on your live show the other day, and asking, what happened to all of your great old content? And you said that you like to keep a clean and crisp channel, so you want what's current. But you had a lot of great and fun strategies out there that are just gone.
They're never gone. They're just in retirement.
Well, they're pretty much, when you delete them from YouTube, they take them out permanently. But there's so many strategies. Oh my goodness. I take one strategy, I add tweaks. Next thing you know, the one strategy becomes 8 strategies, and they keep adding up and adding up. I got over 30,000 strategies in this laptop over here from
but Vince,
just building up.
this game is an evolution. You get it. You hook in somebody like me, for instance, that sees one of your Adam Rackham and Stackham or something. Like, oh man, I really like that. And then COVID hits, and then 6 months, 8 months later, what was that strategy again? And I go looking for it, and I can't find it. It's gone. So
Yeah.
So I here's a suggestion. You need to come up with another channel called Vince's Greatest Hits or Oldies or something like that.
Vince's Archives. Yeah, that would.
Yeah.
Well,
and throw your
every,
old stuff
every
over
good
there.
garden needs weeding.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just they're not
I
my
get that.
strategies, though, Dave. They're not my strategies. Again, I take other people's strategies. I don't want to steal their sunshine because I'll watch Color Up doing some kind of betting thing, and I'm going to take it and put it on mine, and then I'm going to modify it. It's going to show a positive results. It's going to hit the $10 million goal. And then what happens, I do a video on it, but then I say, yeah, I got this from Jeremy's channel or wherever channel. And it turns
is
out
hard.
it wasn't from that
It's very
channel,
difficult
it's
to
from
give
somebody
credit.
else's.
Yeah, it's very difficult to give credit where credit's due because there aren't a lot of original strategies being put out there. But like I said, some of those strategies you had out were fun. They're fun, or they were good strategies, and I miss them. In fact,
Sometimes
Craps
they
Master
come back.
Journey, he just puts out there, says, I agree. I've looked many times for certain strategies and found out that he deletes every 30 to 60 days. So there's some
Because
demand.
there's so much on there.
Yep, there's some demand out there for your old stuff. Throw it on a new channel if you have to, but don't delete it.
Yeah, we can always re-record it.
Yeah.
Yo, Vinny, do that Adam Rackham Stackham again.
Or Mr. Green or whatever.
Yep,
We get a lot
exactly.
of requests to see Pretty Lady a lot.
I like to
Yep.
stay with the competition. There's a lot of competition since Whalen came into the picture doing his ladder strategies. That's getting pretty good stuff. I says, okay, I got to get in on this. And it's like, I just don't make the time for those older strategies anymore.
Well, a good friend of mine, Rick from Let It Roll, he gave me some advice a long time ago and said, don't worry about it. If you're duplicating something that somebody else has put out there, some people are going to watch you, some people are going to watch them, and you're going to reach a different audience. If it happens to be the same, great. It's just another view of the same strategy. People can move on or watch it if they like. Don't worry about it so much. Give credit when you can.
And a lot of times, if you watch both, you'll get something completely different out of it and make it your own.
Yeah. All right, let's go back to some of the questions. We've got some great questions coming in here. Let's see here. Talking about Whalen, his first one here is Vince. Why did the roll-to-win tables you and Sue play on have frequent 40 to 60 rollers? I'd be a millionaire on those. So I've heard you talk about these.
Oh, yeah. Whalen, I'll tell you, we just had a 51 roller there the other night. There's a 51 roller there. But me, see, I try to teach myself to be disciplined at the local casino. So I only try to make $100. So I was in, there was around 22 numbers or something.
24.
She got into rolling and I made a quick $120. I cashed out and went to play slots a little bit to take a break from the table.
And then when he came back, she was up
She
to
was
48.
still rolling. No, she was at the 48, and then she went to 50, and then she went to 51. But the thing is about those roll to win tables, they're so random. They're so random. As soon as those damn dice hit the table, they bounce all over the place. And you see it every day. Like 30 number, 40 number, 50 numbers. I says, I just rolled 24 numbers the other day. And Ed, our favorite, one of our favorite dealers, he says, oh, you missed it the other day. I did a 55 roller. I was working a 55 roller. A gentleman rolled 55 numbers.
Well, one of the other dealers said there was a 91 roller a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
No, it was a 72
72?
numbers.
Yeah.
Bobby, a regular guy, Bobby from our local casino, 72 numbers. They
Okay.
were rolled. And I know Big AZ, he was the one that started posting the screenshots of a
Oh, right.
90
That was it.
90 roller.
I think honestly the reason we may see so many of them is because our local casino has a group of guys that are always there. Whether it's roll to win or a regular table, they're there every day. And I think they just get a lot more accustomed to the way the table works and how it rolls and how it feels. And as it's been there month by month, they've just gotten a little better at throwing on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Now,
Okay.
you get used to the rolling. You get used to the rolling.
It took me time to adjust to because it's so short.
Yeah.
I'm used to
All right,
the
guys,
12 and
we're starting to
14
get quite a few
table.
questions coming in, so we're going to try to rapid fire these. Just to let you know, when I flip to this screen, it's ready to move to the next question, okay? So here we
You
go.
got it.
Nuts and Bolts. He's asking, how did you learn to write simple computer script? What book or resource do you recommend to write these scripts for WinCraps?
You know what? It was actually the WinCraps Pro Team support that said, just write it down the way you want it to do. For example, I want to bet 25 on the don't pass line. And then he basically said, if come out roll, then bet 25 on the don't pass line. And if, and that's it. That's the code. So he
Trial and error.
Yeah, trial and error. And then the WinCraps Pro Team also said in the email, because you can refer to their help file, shows you how to write the scripts. And also their YouTube channel shows you how to write the basic language of the scripts. But there's multiple ways you could write a script. I use the Mickey Mouse version, the nice and easy stuff.
So just real quick on WinCraps. If I remember right, it's I think they call it a shareware program where you can download a free trial and then purchase the extended version or
Pro version.
The Pro version. Okay. Yeah, go
It's
ahead.
actually not. It's actually not really considered shareware. It's actually freeware. It's a free program. They just have like the hyperdrive that I use. It's like they charge like a small fee for unlocking that feature. But yeah, you can actually download for free and write a script right away, or download their free scripts. Sue and I also post our scripts on the WinCraps website.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so let's move on to the next question. Let's see here. Trying to find one. Rocky Coates he's agreeing with me, guys. Sue, quit your job and play craps every day. Once in a while, take Vinny with you.
I'm trying, man. She doesn't want to leave her
My
damn
job is my practice session. I couldn't give it up, and I love it too much.
Yeah.
I live to cook.
I took advantage of her when we went to England. We were searching for casinos all over England when she got laid off from her one job. So we went to England and started playing baccarat. So I was always looking for baccarat salons.
Yeah.
And we went all over Oxford, London, Pateley Bridge, just Leeds, York, everywhere. But it turned out we didn't gamble at all. We pretty much played tourists up there.
Yeah. Okay, real quick, just a shout out to 555 Craps. Says, Dave, you're a legend. It needed to be said. And I really appreciate that. Thank you very much, Fives. And thanks, man. Appreciate that. All right, next question. Another question for Sue. From Team Hardways, does Sue have any craps superstitions?
I have many. Most of them involve Vinny.
I hope you're sitting down for this one, boy.
I don't have an issue with a lot of things. I just don't like people discussing my role. Because as soon as they start saying, oh, she's hot, it draws attention to my role. And I really prefer to be kept in the dark as to how many numbers I'm at until I'm finished. But Vinny has a knack for saying, I guarantee you. Or, as long as the 7 doesn't come out. And as soon as he says something, boom, I lose it. I lose my throw.
Do you do anything to mitigate those superstitions? So if he says 7, do you call your bets off?
No, I don't.
She does the easy thing. What she does, she just puts the dice back down on the table
and shake it off.
And the stick man gets upset. Hey, pick up the dice, throw them to the back wall. And she just says,
give me a minute.
Stop bouncing the stick on the table and I'll throw. Just stop bouncing. I
address things with etiquette.
Yeah, it started addressing directly to players, but it turned out a lot of conflicts. So now we just basically talk to the box man, saying, listen, make sure this guy keeps his hands off the table because he likes to make late bets on the field. and she's got the dice out. So the box man lets the guy know in a good way.
Yeah,
good.
I don't like having my throw in out.
Okay. Any other superstitions?
I don't like the word seven said. I prefer it to be called stinky, ouch, nevis, whatever. But I prefer it not be said when it hasn't been rolled.
Get that guy. There's this
One
guy.
guy does this at one
He
table.
does
I
it
go
right
to.
in front of her like this. He puts $25 on it goes in behind one of the numbers from the don't come bet, and he's going like this while she's throwing the dice.
And
Oh,
I looked
rude.
at him one night and said, keep it up and I won't hit the table. And I threw high once and he stopped doing it. So,
Wow.
oops, I'm sorry, dealer.
Okay, next question comes from John C. for Vince. Vince, is there any chatter about real tables coming back to Fallsview?
None.
They're taking them all out. They're actually thinking about taking them all out of Ontario, actually, and replacing with stadium craps.
Oh, Lord help us.
Oh boy. Okay, next.
There's a type of
Yeah,
the
go ahead,
stadium
Sue.
craps you're talking about has the pit at the front. I'm not sure I'm gonna like that one.
The pit at the front. I'll have to see a picture of that one. Yeah, Super Mario.
Yeah, they have like a table down front and they call people up.
Oh, okay. So somebody actually gets to roll the dice.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. And then
Okay.
I just don't understand leaving your station to
It's
go
still
do it.
one dealer, but
Yeah.
it emulates a real table with a
Yeah.
nice real back wall. But you just got to go to the front to roll the dice.
I've got you. I've seen
You
some
have to
chatter
leave your station
about.
to go roll the dice.
Okay, I've seen some chatter about Planet Hollywood possibly having a stadium craps like that as well, where one person comes up and they get to roll the dice. When they 7 out, it's the next person's turn. They can come up. So it's still a way that you can roll the dice, but you may have 20 shooters in front of you. Who knows? We'll see if that catches on or not.
Yeah.
Okay, I wanted to say, Super Mario, I'm holding your question back for a few minutes. I'll get to yours here as soon as I can. But Rocky Coates is also asking, Sue, I know you all usually play for small profits, but do you just ever go for it?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we do. The day that we actually brought Press the Pretty Lady out, we had a substantial win on our favorite slot machine, which gave us $5,000 on top of the $2,000 we had brought, and we decided to go to the High Roller Lounge and give this Press the Pretty Lady a shot. And I turned the 5,000 into just over 15, and I think at one point I had it up to almost 17. And Vince was sitting at about 3,000, and we walked out of there with what was it? About
Well,
16
we
or
lost.
7?
We went down.
Yeah,
a
we
little
went
bit.
down a little because you got
Went
distracted.
down a little bit, but we cashed out about 15. She did a video where she threw it all on the table, and all the dealers from the casino saw the video. I had to delete it.
Oh, wow.
But it was fun. But
All right,
yeah,
guys,
we do on occasion flash it out.
We're hitting the 1 hour mark, and we've still got a couple of questions. Let's see if we can get to them. Kevin M., have you ever spoken with Stein, the owner of Windcraps?
Many times. Oh yeah, many times up in via email mostly. But sometimes he asks me for my critique on something. I know his programming is pretty advanced, and sometimes it scares the crap scares the crap out of a lot of people, and it deters them from wanting to use Windcraps. But I keep saying to Steen, I say, Steen, I kind of like the simple Mickey Mouse programming because people are really used to it because they can easily change the amounts and everything.
Awesome. All right, so 2 more questions, and let's go with Super Mario's first. For quick money, what would you rather play, Baccarat or Craps?
When it comes to quick money, they're both really grinding strategies. I mean, if you get 5 streaks in a row of banker or player, you can make yourself a quick $250. But for quick money, I don't think there's such a thing as quick money unless you're pretty lucky.
And to be quite honest, Dave, with our baccarat tables, they've gone to a higher hold dealer box, like the shufflers.
Yeah.
Instead of being like 5, they're up to like 7 or 8, and it's like it makes it a lot harder.
Continuous
So it
shuffled
balances them
cards.
out pretty good. They're always being shuffled, so it makes it really hard to
Yeah.
see the streaks we used to.
Okay. You know, when I think of quick money, I think it's a low exit strategy. So what's your win goal? And do you ever go, I think that's a great question for you. What kind of win goal do you set for yourselves?
You know what? The best strategy to try for quick money is the one where you get your money out quick.
Yeah.
If you
Get it off the
reword it,
table.
the strategies that get your money out quick. If you use a strategy called an uptown and downtown shuffle, it's what do we call it? An uptown downtown something. I forgot the name of the strategy, but it's in there. It's in my YouTube videos. After one hit of the dice, you got your money off the table. Now you're free rolling.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So last question for you guys. It's going to come from John over at ProCraps. He says, when you travel and thinking about like Vegas, are you into any of the shows? Or if so, which ones? I think what he's really trying to say is, how do you Vegas?
Our host sets us up. What happens, we contact our host at Caesars, and he basically sets us up with the hotel room we're going to stay at for the 3 or 4 nights. He sets us up with the city we're going to go to. He sets us the flights, the limos. There's
Transport.
it's like a limo bus that takes a bunch of people at the same time. He sets us up with all that, but we don't really. He gives us kind of a choice, an overall choice. Where do you want to go? You want to go to New Jersey? You want to go to Atlantic City? You want to go to Reno, Vegas? Wherever you want to go, he'll give us something in our email, and we look at it, and it's like, oh, you can get 3 nights over here. You could stay at the D. You could stay at the Flamingo. You could stay at the Golden
Nugget.
Golden Nugget or something, Golden Gate or something. But yeah, we just follow what the host says.
I like the shows, but
yes,
if
for
I'm
the
not
shows,
paying for them, I
they
like
even
them better.
tell us what shows we qualify to see. So
Now that COVID restrictions are starting to ease a little bit, any plans to hit Vegas anytime soon?
Well, with us, we literally just had our mask ban lifted as of today.
Oh, today?
So we
Wow.
don't have to wear a mask. So our borders are just opening. And I think I'm going to kind of lay back just a little bit longer to make sure things have truly calmed down. But I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that I might do a little traveling towards the end of this year,
Nice.
September or later.
on a good note, they introduced that airline. There's a new airline that they introduced, direct flights to Vegas.
Yeah, we have a small international airport near us on this. I usually cross over to Buffalo and fly out of there. But our Hamilton airport is now offering nonstops to Vegas and a lot of other U.S. cities,
It's
direct flights. So
6.5
that's worth
hours. You're
looking.
in Vegas.
6.5 hours. It's
6.5 hours. That's what it says.
It's
6.5
like a
hours.
4-hour
You're in
flight from
Vegas.
Toronto. 4.5 hours.
Well, I know that on behalf of us U.S. Folks, we're ready to see you come back over, and I'd love to meet you guys in the casino one night.
Well, don't worry, guys. I'm actually thinking about maybe popping into Arizona or New Orleans again if I don't get to Vegas, or doing what I can of the 3.
Awesome.
We
I've
just
built-
got to
I've built up a
convince
bit
her to
of
take
break-
some time off her job, and we'll be on our way for sure.
Unfortunately, I'm one of the anchors on our team of cooks, and if I take time off,
They panic.
They struggle.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, you got to take care of your day job first, right? It's
Yes, and if you don't mind, I did notice a question that I'd like to answer.
okay.
Dan, I don't really have one particular thing I like to cook, but Vinny does love one recipe I have, and it's for Parmesan breaded wings, chicken, or pork chops. And it's a recipe that I actually came up with before I even went to cooking school.
Awesome.
It's quite good.
I do see one other question coming in through here. And Vince, we talked about this yesterday. What happened to your Baccarat channel? I went searching for it too, even after you told me what it was. I cannot find it. I don't know if it's been deleted or if it's not public.
No, it's there. What happened was I used my cell phone to do all the live streams because my internet connection, the local internet connection here is shared. So it doesn't matter how much money you pay, you still get the same shared speed. So it kept freezing. So when I created the live dealer Baccarat, it's all one word, live dealer Baccarat. I was doing my first stream, but because it's a new channel, they won't let you use your cell phone to do the live streams. You got to use a desktop, and I can't use their internet connection. So I had to stop doing videos on there because they kept freezing. So I started posting the Baccarat videos on this channel.
On your Vince Armenti channel?
On the Vince Armenti channel. There is people requesting. I got about 50, 60 people requesting Baccarat videos, but I do them, but I've been so tied up with craps strategies, I haven't been making time to do the Baccarat videos.
I'm looking over here. You gave me a channel yesterday, and I thought it was something like Craps Chat or Craps
Talk
Talk.
Craps.
Talk Craps.
Oh, Talk Craps. TALK Craps. That's an old one.
Yeah.
But I believe you had, I don't know, 8 to 10 Baccarat videos out there.
Yeah, I think there's like 14 of them there. It shows off her strategy, the partner betting strategy.
And no, the casino doesn't give us grief for partner betting because we both have our own playing cards and we play at our own stations.
Nice.
And it doesn't appear to be a partner bet.
Yeah, I actually got into trouble with the Baccarat back in that day. It was I had a problem with taking pictures.
That got us in trouble.
And the owner,
The
was
CEO.
the guy, the big shot at the casino, he goes, Vince, come on over here. I want to talk to you. And he says, oh no, we're gonna be banned for playing partners. And he says, I got nothing against you guys. It's very enjoyable. I watched you play. He was behind the dealer watching us play. He goes, I got nothing against you, the way you guys play. I think it's very fun and very entertaining. The thing I got issues with, you taking pictures, because I kept taking pictures of the scoreboards all the time, and kind of got me in trouble there a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little heat.
Just a bit. And
Just
then
a bit.
the funniest part was he turned out to be the fiance of the owner of the business I was working at, and came into the kitchen to compliment the cook on the fish.
I know
and
you.
it was me. And he went, Judy? And I went, and no, his girlfriend says, no, this is Sue. He says, no, that's Judith. And she says, no, it's Sue. And I said, guilty of both, because I used my middle name.
She says, how do you know
and
her?
The casinos know me by my first name.
Oh, we know Sue and Vince pretty well at the casino.
All right. Well, Sue and Vince, I think this is a good spot to wrap this part up. Thank you guys so much for being the final guests of season 2. And I appreciate you guys coming on. I've been looking forward to picking your brain for a long time, and I hope you don't mind. I'll probably send you an email from time to time and reach out and continue to pick your brain.
Yeah, Dave, I also want to give you a huge kudos, because when you started the Same Bet show, oh my goodness, you got us hooked instantly. We love it. We love your show. We're so proud of you. We love you. We love you, man. We love you. Everybody in Canada, Same Bet show, Monday night, 8 p.m.
Guys, I deeply appreciate that. And the last question of the night is actually from John C. asking, Dave, when is the Same Bet show starting a new season? And that's how I was actually going to end the show, talking a little bit about it. Before I do that, one of the things that I like to do is a community calendar. Coming up here in just a week or so, we have Next Level Craps with Tony Leo and Ron Van Allen in Las Vegas. In April, we've got the NCL Getaway to Bermuda. We've also got Golden Touch Craps and Beat the Heat, both in Atlantic City and Las Vegas at the same time. In May, we've got an Advantage Dice Control Workshop with Tony and his crew. We also have Craps Cruise 6 leaving out of Galveston. In June, the Golden Touch Craps crew is going to be active in Memphis. And then DiceCon, Jeremy from Color Up, his DiceCon convention is going to be June 19th through June 21st. So a lot of things coming up in the next couple of months. All right, so now talk a little bit about what's happening with me and what part of the reason that I decided to end this season. Well, the next couple of months, I'm going to be incredibly busy. Most people have already commented and said, hey, is something going on? Because I've moved to like an every 2-week strategy. The reality is I just can't keep up the pace. I've got so much going on that I just can't do it. So I'm going to step back, enjoy life for a little while, and then get back into it probably this fall. So kind of showing off a couple of the things. What's next? Look for the show to return late this summer, maybe early fall. We'll see. I want to bring it back. It may come back in a little slightly different format, but look for it probably late summer, early fall. There's another little project, or a couple little projects that I want to do. One that I call a few minute of craps, and the S is in parentheses because what I want to do is spend maybe 8 to 10 minutes a few times a week or once a week just doing some sort of commentary, an editorial. Maybe it's on something that I read in Facebook or maybe read it in a book. I love reading craps books. But it might not always be craps related. I'm expanding my games and playing a lot more Baccarat. I'm playing some roulette, looking forward to playing a little bit of blackjack. So I might talk a little bit about something else. So it's not always going to be craps related, but it's going to be like an 8 to 10 minute editorial. That's probably the best way to put it. So it's a few minutes of craps. Also, I need to return to my table. I got a new table back in November, and I'm spending more time in the editing room here rather than at my practice table, and that's a problem. I really want to get back and do some of that. Now, I've been a critic of all of the craps channels out there. Watching people throw the dice, I don't find that terribly entertaining, and it's not always educational. So I'm working on something that I hope will work on that. I'm going to show you a screen. Into doing a little bit of that. That was kind of the how I started this channel, doing some voiceovers on some play. So look forward to seeing some of that. And then there's a top secret project that I'm not going to reveal today, but I will need help from the audience here when it's time to do this project. So please, I don't like doing this, but I'm asking you, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with some of the things. I'm on Facebook, reach out to me. I'm on Instagram as Same Bet, reach out to me there. And let's stay in touch. And I hope that some of these side projects that I've got going on will tie us over until the summer or fall when I can come back and do some of the interviews. So that's it, guys. That's what I've got coming up. I guess if we just leave it at there. Vince, Sue, again, thank you guys for coming on. I really appreciate it. And for everybody out there watching, thank you for all the love and the support, all the super chats that we received tonight. It's been phenomenal. That's it. Dice are out. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Cheers, guys.
Good night.